Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. You're listening to Home in Progress by RepcoLite, sponsored by Benjamin Moore, and I'm really excited about today's show. Ginger Herman from Suprins Group 5-Star Real Estate Leaders is in the studio with me, and she's going to be here for the whole show. Now we're going to be talking about real estate, but also a project that Ginger's working on for herself, personally. So we're going to cover a ton of ground. But before we jump in, I've got to talk about something that happened, a couple of weeks ago. I think it's really funny. I've got an incredibly flawed perception of what I look like when I'm doing stuff. All right. I know that's vague. Let me explain. A while back, I think a couple weeks ago when it was really cold, I decided I was going to go for a walk. So I'm getting my stuff out, and I hear the wind blowing out there. It's storming, it's blizzarding or whatever. Sounds frigid. It sounds like it's somewhere in Alaska. And as I'm thinking that, I've got these visions, of Jack London books that I've read, White Fang, The Call of the Wild, all of that. And I've got these visions of manly men battling winter and weather and navigating through frozen terrain, blah, blah, blah. All of that is going through my mind. So I decide I'm going to be one of those manly men. And I've got the gear to some extent. I've got to kind of fake it because I don't really have the gear, but I've got stuff that's kind of like the gear. So I'm rummaging around, and I find this heavy old jacket that I've got, some big manly winter mittens. I've got enormous boots that I put on. And then the piece de resistance, I've got this trapper's hat thing, one of those big fuzzy hats with ear flaps that can be buttoned under your chin. It's warm, it's mountain man made, it's cool. So I get dressed in all of that, and I get ready to go outside. But before I do, I decide I'm going to check my cool self out in the mirror. And I do, and I can't believe what I'm looking at. All right, I'm looking at this full-length mirror, and instead of this big manly man, or smaller, shorter-sized manly man, what I see is this guy. Let's look at the hat. Let's talk about the hat. It was so tight, buttoned under my chin, that it smushed up, all the baby fat or the old man fat of my neck and my face, and pushed it all into my cheeks. So they poofed out. They made me look like a squirrel with like a winter stash, stuffed in there. My boots, they were huge. I knew that. But when I saw them on my little legs, they looked more like hip waders than anything else. And the mittens, same thing. They were big. I knew that, but I'd never seen them on me, from another person's perspective. The gauntlets went way past my elbows, almost up to my armpits. Overall, I was not cool in the least. But that didn't stop me. I still went outside and walked around in full view of everybody. It's just the way I am. Just don't care. But I did think it was kind of funny that my self-perception was that incredibly off. Anyway, that's the whole point. No real anything to that. I just thought it was funny and wanted to share it. All right, let's get to the show. As I mentioned earlier, I'm excited to have Ginger Herman from Suprins Group 5-Star Real Estate Leaders joining me. Ginger, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Now, it's been a while since you've been here for a market update, but the spring market's coming, so let's just go for it right off the bat, because I know you've got another topic that you want to get to. So we're going to get the real estate stuff out of the way, and then we're going to talk about your own personal project.
Yes, business first, personal later.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're a couple months into 2026. If there is a big headline in the real estate world, what is it right now?
I don't think there's necessarily a headline, but we are getting closer and closer to hitting our spring market. And when I say hitting our spring market, meaning the busyness of way more buyers entering the market and more listings popping up. And we've talked about this in the past. It's usually weather dependent. Of course, rates help that as well. But here in Michigan, when we have those hard, snowy, under 0 degrees days, no one wants to go out.
You mean there weren't people just walking through houses?
No.
Blizzard weather?
No, they were hunkering down. No one wanted to go out in that, which is fine with me. I don't want to go out in it.
Yeah, I can't imagine you want to be showing a lot of houses.
I would do it if I needed to. So, yeah, and it usually happens. We have a huge warm-up February, March. We get it every year. And sure enough, we had it, right? It was like 58 degrees last week. Mm-hmm. So here we're starting to see buyers come out of I don't know wherever
buyers lurk. Yeah.
Apartments,
okay.
Their parents' basement. I don't know. They're coming to us, really getting excited about searching for a home. And it's really weird how it happens. We'll get calls like, hey, I'm starting to think about entering the market. What are my first steps? Or what usually happens is they send us a home from Zillow and say, hey, I just saw that this house popped up. We're thinking about looking to buy. So it just gets people excited about the springtime, summertime coming around, wanting to search for houses.
So you're seeing that now. What's the inventory like right now? I know that's been a big struggle in the past. I think it's a little better than it has been.
Yes, it's still low, but it is getting better. Even the last 2 weeks, we've seen a lot more houses pop up. When I say a lot more houses too, it's typically still under that like $350,000, $400,000 range that we're seeing pop up. And this is pretty cyclical too. We usually, the first start of our spring market is typically newer home buyers or first time home buyers, and that lower end price range. I hate saying lower end price range because it's really not a low end price range.
Just under $300,000.
It's just really cheap.
Yeah, yes. I buy 5 of those a week.
Yes. So it's typically under that like $300,000, $350,000 that starts to get active first, and then we'll kind of see that like middle range, and then the higher end housing like above $450,000. So right now we're really starting to see those first time home buyers or second time home buyers start to activate first, which is those first signs of our spring market headed our way.
So the buyers get excited. I'm assuming sellers do the same.
Yes. Yep. With that first warm up, I think it gets people motivated to get house projects done inside and outside. So we're seeing more sellers reach out to us. Hey, we're getting ready. How do you feel about a listing date? Which we're typically like, do it now. There's not much on the market right now. So just as soon as we can get it, sooner the better. As soon as we can get it up, the better. I would say in the past week and a half, 2 weeks, all of a sudden here we're getting flooded with phone calls. And it usually happens too a little bit before spring break or like that midwinter break too, because a lot of our realtors are going out of town to Florida with their kids for midwinter break. And they're like, what? Now I'm getting flooded with phone calls. What's happening here?
Yeah. They need to change their midwinter break to the beginning of winter.
Yes. So, and rates have stayed low. So
I was going to ask about that.
Yes, we're definitely way better than we were last year. We're lower than what we were last year, and we're fluctuating between like low 6s, high 5s. Fluctuates daily, so I can't give a firm percentage point, but which is very good considering what we were last year.
I think mine is at like 3.35 or something like that. So I'm never, ever, ever moving probably.
I was going to ask that. So you're just stuck forever, aren't you?
Right? I know that people deal with that. Do you anticipate? I mean, it's probably never going to, I can't say never. Is it ever going to be like that again? Maybe we don't want it to, because what brought it to that point? That's what we
usually bring up. It's a sign of an unhealthy market in general, not just real estate, but the economy in general, right? So I shouldn't say we, because then I'm lumping in a lot of people that are probably like, I disagree with you. I don't want to necessarily see those numbers again. And for us too, it's just too crazy. Homes were inflating at a price that we just couldn't keep up with, right? That's why a lot of first-time buyers are like, I can't even get into a house, right? Because we just had a very quick, rapid inflation of home pricing. We are still increasing. I think they even said we're now on month like 31 of still an increase. In home prices. In home prices. Yes. Yeah. And it's not, I can't say that as like a broad term for all of the U.S., right? But Michigan, we do still keep increasing in home pricing.
So with houses that are being sold right now, do you see them selling for list price, above list price? Are we still seeing that? Or is it coming in a little bit lower?
I hate saying this word, but it really depends, because it depends on where they listed that house, meaning the listing agent and the seller. Where did they list that house? If they listed it properly or maybe a little bit under, it's going to sell really fast. But if they listed it too high, it is still going to sit. We're still seeing longer days on the market just because we're still exiting the winter market. Right? We're not like quite deep into that spring market yet. So we are still seeing days on the market a little bit longer than what we're going to see probably in a month from now, when it's going to be houses flying off the shelf.
So if it's priced correctly,
it's going to go.
It goes for
24 hours. It's going to go.
But it goes for the price that they listed at for the most
part. Or above.
A little bit. Or it will still go above. Yeah. Are we seeing bidding wars kinds of stuff?
Yep.
We're still seeing that. Not to the extent.
Correct.
Or is it still like... Like an alley
did that
fight.
right into
the microphone. Yeah, see, Ginger comes in and explains she's going to be clearing her throat from time to time.
Sorry
but she'll
about
do it
that.
away from the mic.
Yes.
And then her first try is straight into
Next
the
time
mic.
I will do that outside of the mic. And now I lost track of what'd you ask me?
Oh, gosh, I don't even know.
I think you asked me how many multiple offers are we dealing with?
Yeah, are we dealing with the like an alley fight like it previously was?
We're dealing with an alley fight, but not as many people back in the alley.
All
Okay.
right. All right. So it's a little better odds.
Yes, a little better odds.
Okay.
But, I would say a month from now, I can't say this for certainty because I don't have a crystal ball, but I think it's going to be a lot more people in that back alley fighting for that house.
All right. So we're still in that zone. So honestly, what I'm hearing is if you're a buyer,
Jump
get
in
moving now.
Yeah.
And same thing with the seller?
Same thing
Just
for
get
the
things
seller
moving.
because there's not that much inventory. So it's going to be your house and maybe 3 others, whereas in a month from now, it's probably going to be a lot more that you're competing against.
So if somebody's, like you said, the weather turns nice and generally speaking, the weather turns sour again before long, and then we're really sad because we had this nice weather
Yeah, it's very depressing.
Yeah, but it turns nice and people start looking at, little projects, and then they start thinking about maybe getting their house ready to go.
Yep.
And you mentioned a few people who are saying, I'm ready to go now. What do I do?
Yep.
But it turns out they're really not ready. What things do they need to prep in their home? Like previously, a couple years ago, you guys said they don't really need to do a whole lot of anything, because normally we would tell people paint everything and do this and do this and do this.
Yeah.
And the houses were selling without even needing to do any of that.
Yeah.
Where are we at right now? Do sellers need to get a lot of prep stuff done, a lot of little touch-ups done?
I usually start with looking at the comparables that are on the market and compare their specific house to what the other homes in their price range are looking like. So if those other houses all also have older paint, colors, or some things that are outdated, and that's the price point that my sellers want to hit, I'm like, no, you don't need to do anything. Let's go up 10 to 15,000 higher from what the comparables are showing that sold. Oh, this house has all neutral paint. Well, if you want to reach that price point, let's repaint your house to be all neutral paint, or at least the bigger rooms, right? The family room, the dining room, the kitchen, things like that. So I would say it really depends on what my seller is trying to get out of, the house.
Pretty much all the answers are, it depends.
It depends.
But it makes sense. Of
Yes.
course it depends.
Everyone has different goals, right? I don't like putting blanket statements on it because a seller might have a goal of, I just need to get this house sold within 7 days, right? Well, then I'm going to be like, well, we can't do these big projects. Then my goal becomes your goal of, I just want to get your house sold within 7 days and I'm going to achieve that, right? It might decrease your price a little bit, but maybe not by much because right now there's just not much inventory.
Yeah, now's the time. And speaking of the time, I think let's take a break and then we'll wrap up the state of the market right after this. Home in Progress is brought to you by RepcoLite Paints and Benjamin Moore. People often think of paint as just another line item on the project supply list. But here's the thing. Everything you do, every hour of prep, every stroke of the brush, all comes down to the quality of the paint. The paint is the project. Make sure it's the best. We're talking about the state of the market, and we just ended last segment talking about sellers, trying to get either the most money for their house possible or trying to just sell the house as fast as possible. Different strategies are involved. But Ginger, during the break, you mentioned that there's something that they've got to all do, regardless of which outcome they're pursuing.
You got to do the deep cleaning and you got to do the decluttering. It makes a huge difference. The bigger you can make your space and the cleaner you can make your space, anyone walking in there already feels better about your house. Think about walking in a house and it's like gross, right? You get done with the showing and your socks are like really brown underneath. Like, is that a house you feel good about buying? Because it makes you feel that they didn't take care of their house, right? Which is maybe not the case.
We did that. Just before we bought the house we're in, we were looking and couldn't find anything. And we went through just a ton of houses. And it was so depressing because we sold our house way too low. We didn't know. We just did a for sale by owner.
Oh, interesting how that happens.
Yeah. And it went just so fast. And then now we got to look. We hadn't even found anything yet. So the panic sets in and we were right on the cusp of the prices starting to go up. So everything that we were looking at was like so much more than we were anticipating for so much less than what we had.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're going through all these houses and I'm just getting more and more depressed. And I remember one where we all walked through it, like you said, in our socks. We got outside and we're standing there and my daughter said, my feet are sticky. She's a little kid. She pulls her shoes off and her socks are sticking. And we all start looking. Our socks are black on the bottom. Just
see, like, do you want to buy that house?
Oh, no, we ran away. We didn't run fast because our feet were so sticky.
No,
but Jeesh.
And that's not the feeling that you want to give the buyers coming in.
No.
Right?
You don't want them to flee and then burn the clothing that they wore.
Right.
When they went.
And even it's the simple things of like wipe down your windowsills and your baseboards and even just your counter. You'd be surprised at how many houses I walk through and like go to put down paperwork or something and pick it back up and it's just pure crumbs underneath,
Spaghetti sauce, syrup.
Yeah. It just doesn't give a buyer a good feeling. Because like I said, it's not that you don't take care of your house. We're all busy, right? And then if you throw in kids in that lifestyle, right, like your house is always going to be a mess. But as long as you give them that feeling of, yes, you do take care of your house, you value your house. That's the type of house a buyer wants to purchase.
That's
not a house that is neglected.
Even if it's not been, it feels neglected.
It feels neglected, yeah.
Yeah. And I know at my house, if I skip mopping, sweeping a couple of days, because I've got a dog, Maggie,
pets, yes.
She sheds like crazy. She's a golden retriever and it's insane.
Yes.
Just a couple of days can make it feel like it's been months of just neglect.
And we all put off projects. Like here I am in this industry, but I had touch-up paint done to my house probably a year and a half ago, right, where they spackled and touch up, the wall. I still haven't touch-up painted those spots, right? It sits there.
You get blind to it.
You get blind. You get used to it. It doesn't become, because there's bigger things in my house that need,
there's other
handling.
Things I got to deal with.
Yes.
Right?
Or at the end of the day, I do need a mental health, 2 or 3 or maybe 4 hours to unwind from the day. That small little painting project doesn't matter to me.
Well, I think it's a killer because it's a small project, and that's what we tell ourselves. That's little.
Yeah.
I'll get to that whenever. Well, then another little one shows up, and that's little, and I'll get to that later. And eventually, we just
it's a list of 20 little things.
Yeah, just move on. Find a house where someone's done all of those things already.
So that's the kind of things that we tell our sellers, like, what have you been putting off for a while that's probably not that big of a deal? All right.
Perfect little projects.
Take 2 to 3 weekends or however many days in a row that you can to tackle those items that are going to just make your house look a lot better and make the buyer feel better about purchasing your house. So start doing those now, because then you're going to be ready for spring market listings.
Exactly. Anything else you want to say about the market before we take a break and then talk about your own personal project?
No, I think we did good about covering it all.
Well, I think we covered it. The audience will decide if we did
If
that well.
If I didn't, I'm going to get phone calls of you didn't even mention this.
Send your all
my feedback and comments.
Feedback. If it's negative, send it to
me,
Ginger.
not
give
you.
Your contact out. Why don't you give your contact out now, since I asked for the negative feedback, but also since the next segment's about your personal stuff. If you
Text it right to 616-633-5880.
All right, I'll put all of that in the show notes as well, so you can be sure to get those feedback or those comments and all that feedback to Ginger. But if you are listing your house or looking to list your house or looking to buy a house, reach out to Ginger. She's a lot of fun, and you seem to know what you're doing.
I do.
So
yep. Hey, I'm entering my 15th year in the business, which is shocking, but I'm very excited about it. It's cool to hit, big markers like that.
It is. All right, let's take a break, and then when we come back, let's talk about your personal project.
Yes.
And this whole adventure that you're on.
Yes.
All right, we'll be back in just a minute. Stick around. Home in Progress is brought to you by RepcoLite Paints and Benjamin Moore. Think about it. You spend hours prepping, sanding, taping, and then finally painting. Don't throw all that work away with an inferior product. The paint isn't just another supply. The paint is the project. Make sure it's the best. I'm in the studio with Ginger Herman from Suprins Group 5-Star Real Estate Leaders.
Nailed it.
And last segment, we talked about the state of the market. But right now, we're going to talk about your own project, a personal project.
Yes.
An adventure that you're on. You purchased a house up north.
Yes.
And it's You've informed me it's a ski chalet.
Yes, it's not a house. It's a ski chalet because it sounds fancier.
It sure does sound fancy. I had a friend who bought a cottage up north. And at that same point, we had another friend who bought a trailer at like Sandy Pines.
Oh,
if
yeah.
You're familiar with that?
Yes.
And so I would mess those words up. I called everything the trailer.
Yes.
And the person with the trailer let it go because it's a trailer. The person with the cottage, every single time. Yeah. You mean the cottage. Yeah. So the ski chalet.
Yes.
Let's talk about this. You bought that last summer?
Yeah. It wasn't necessarily a planned thing. Saw it pop up on the market. I was really excited about it.
Who'd you use for realty?
Oh, I used my mom.
Okay. Found somebody.
Yes. No, and I reached out to the realtor up there, and it happened to be, he's like, I'm literally going to get 3 offers tomorrow. You have to drive up today. So I dropped everything, drove up there. It's really cool, built in the 70s. So it has a lot of just intricate, cool design to it, especially also just being a chalet. We've loved A-frames, so it wasn't quite the A-frame, but it gives us more opportunity because it is a little bit bigger size than an A-frame. But a lot of the house was stuck in the 60s and 70s.
It was built then, and it never left.
Yes, and more so paint, flooring, and the furniture came fully furnished, and everything had just kind of been like stuck in an outdated time frame. So that was my after. It is a rental, so after our short-term rentals had kind of all been up for the year, then I was like, all right, I'm gonna block off time. I'm gonna really try to invest in updating not only furniture but like paint colors. Thankfully, someone had redone the kitchen, so we did not have to tackle the kitchen.
Like cabinets and everything.
Yes.
That was all updated.
Not necessarily the color scheme that I would have went for. It's really weird. The rest of the house is like 70s, and then someone did like a early 2000s kitchen.
Okay.
So it's really weird. It doesn't like quite match everything. But I was like, I can work with this. We can play with this.
All right. So colors from the 70s. I mean, we're all forming our own images, but you've been there. Walk us through a little bit. What kind of colors were you dealing with? What kind of furnishings? What kind of carpets and stuff?
Bright orange. A lot of bright orange everywhere. Like even like closet doors. Like just
really? Like the walls
orange.
and stuff were bright
all of the walls were a beige, and I don't really know quite. It was like a more brown beige.
Okay. Furniture and doors even.
White couches.
Orange. Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
And then like bright brass lamps, bright rugs, orange rugs.
How clean?
Not
like
clean.
Immaculate?
No.
Like you could eat off the floor, eat off that shag carpet?
No. I mean, as a rental that also allows pets, no, I wouldn't eat off of anything in that house. No. It's better now. For anyone listening that wants to rent it, it's better now.
Yeah. I'm glad you said that because
Yes.
the rental list is going to...
Even like the beds too, I replaced out beds, and like I remember taking off like just the bed sheets and everything because there's protectors on everything, and I was like, oh my God, these beds look like they're from the 40s. Like just no one, everything had just been left. I love the 70s style though. So when I was thinking about renovating this and making it look updated, I didn't want to go straight to 2026 style, right? Like I wanted to play into this chalet, cottage, ski, old 70s feel, but just make it look like someone would actually want to spend time in this house longer term.
And you're doing the whole thing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Did you redo floors?
I did not because they're nice wood floors. Okay. They are that orangey, colored wood floors, but I was like, that's all right. We can play into this. And I prefer the wood floors. Yes. Yep. We can clean that up. That is fine.
All right. So it's still a huge project though.
Yes. Yep. And I did not want to do any of the painting myself because that main family room is like that 14, 15 foot high ceiling. So I just did not want to tackle that myself. It would have taken me way too long.
So how did you go about figuring out like all of that? Because you've got different colors to bring in.
I was very
even
overwhelmed.
Down to the orange doors you got to figure out.
Yes.
Blending it with the 2000s kitchen. Did you redo the kitchen?
No, I just left it.
So left that.
Yeah. I was very overwhelmed. So I actually started with a gal that used to work for RepcoLite, Hailey, who is color specialist. I was like, I'm going to start with her and have her really just Like I told her this is the style I like. Sent her some inspiration pictures. I sent her pictures of the house so that way she could know what to go off of. And she just fully set everything up for me. Like she was like, I think you need to do this for the wall colors everywhere, which was Ballet White by Benjamin Moore, because it's a neutral. I told her I don't want like stark white. I want it to, feel natural in there, but I do want it to be relatively neutral. So Ballet White was great. And it also went with the black trim because the entire house has black trim. And that felt way too overwhelming to repaint everything.
So you left all of that?
Yes, I left all the trim black.
Black trim everywhere?
Everywhere. Like even the railings and everything is black trim. Isn't that weird? Who went in there and was like, yes, black trim everywhere?
Does it look good?
I think it looks great now.
Well, see, that's why they did it.
Oh, they were going for long term.
They were, well, no.
Ginger will eventually pick the right color in the house.
That's not what I mean. But what I mean is it looks good.
Yes.
If it's got the right color.
Yes,
Maybe their color wasn't good. Maybe they didn't have a Hailey.
They did not have a Hailey.
Because Hailey led up, she was on the show.
Yeah, she was on the show, yes.
Her. And then she did moved into like color design and helping us with that. Did a ton of training.
Yes.
She got all of our stores. She got everybody better with color. And we've got specific color designers, consultants on staff now.
Yes.
Thanks to Hailey. And then Hailey's got other things, art and stuff that she's pursuing on her own now.
Yeah.
But yeah, that just the help of that.
Yes.
Having somebody who, you can kind of blame.
Yeah, if I didn't like it.
No, we would never blame Hailey or any of our consultants because they do their best, but you make the decision.
Yes.
But just having somebody who lives in that and can make some recommendations and can see past, perhaps, I'm sure you had conversations, I would assume, about the black trim.
Yes.
What am I going to do? And Hailey's going to be able to say, this is going to work. It's going to work. Don't worry about it.
And get the best for my money. Because I was like, okay, if you tell me I do have to paint all the trim and focus on that, and then maybe that's where I'm going to allot the money. But she was like, no, we can play into this. Right,
that's a really interesting, because if you just get a good color on the wall and somebody who you're working with doesn't address the whole scope of it, you could end up still hating the black trim.
Yes.
But Hailey's giving you the confidence.
Yes.
Even though you're willing, I'll paint the trim if I have to.
Yeah.
You guys find a solution through that.
Yeah. Well, and she even helped me too, because I kind of gave her two routes of, I was like, I do want to brighten everything up and neutralize everything in this house. But I also was sending her inspiration photos of like deep, dark greens. And I was like, do I really play into like a cabin feel here, right? Like you see that a lot with A-frames up in the woods because this house is set in the middle of the woods. We're surrounded by trees. So I was like, do I play into that aspect? There's a lot of windows in this house, so we can have a lot of natural light. And she kind of took the whole project as a whole and was like, I really think you still need to go to the neutral Ballet White to brighten everything up.
Yeah.
Also, as just a short-term rental, she's like, if it was only your house and you wanted to love that, totally fine. But she had the bigger picture in mind of like, people are going to see this house online. They're going to see the photos. That's kind of a look that might close out some people from wanting to rent your house.
Well, yeah,
like,
it feels dark. It could feel, like this isn't the cleanest. I don't know.
Yeah.
Even though it could look really nice.
Yes. Yep. And then with the Ballet White and her knowing that I wanted to play into the 70s feel and still keep it like, I didn't want that house that was just all one color, right? That has no character. Then she was like, where we're going to bring in the color is with rugs, with blankets on beds, with pillows on beds, with your light fixtures. And she helped me with all of that. It was wonderful.
Really, really,
it was a great
really
experience. And then one place that we did add color was bathrooms because they are small little bathrooms. So it was easy. So we did this sweet rosy brown, I think it is, from Benjamin Moore.
Sweet rosy brown.
Yes. It's like a deep
that was my nickname
maroon.
in school.
It was not.
Oh.
I see right through that. It's kind of like a deep maroon color. And because I sent her an inspiration of basically a wallpaper that I liked. And she was like, oh, this is going to go great with the wallpaper. I did not end up doing the wallpaper because I ran out of time, but I'm going to take that wallpaper like sample and roll, and I'm actually going to frame it And I'm just
really
going to
cool.
put it in a frame, on the wall. So it's kind of a feeling of that wallpaper. Then I took, I had to buy the paint. So I was like, well, I know for sure I wanted to use Scuff X because I knew that it held up, and this being a rental.
Yeah.
Yes, and allowing pets in there and kids are going to be in there. So I was like, I knew I wanted Scuff X. I went into a RepcoLite location. Basically, he was like...
You were at the Jennison one, right?
Yes, at the Jennison location. I explained where this paint was going to be going in a rental, and then specifically that it had tall ceilings, that it was a chalet. And I walked in and I said, I want eggshell finish. And he kind of looked at me and he's like, so I just want to explain to you, with tall walls, a lot of natural light coming in, he's like, I really encourage you to do a matte finish because otherwise you're going to see each roller line. And I was like, wonderful, let's do the matte. But just having RepcoLite that are literally experts in this to help me through this. Otherwise I would have had to pay. I would have walked in there, seen all of the roller marks and been like, I have to repaint.
And you might not have seen them if they're, it depends on the person applying them. It depends on the conditions.
True.
But it's so much more likely.
Yes.
And, in most situations, an eggshell is a low sheen. You shouldn't have an issue. But with all the windows,
yes,
it's just so much work for whatever the ceilings were, however high they were.
Yeah.
All that work to not love it.
Yeah.
It's just absolutely so disheartening.
And even with, I think we ended up changing also the sheen of the bathroom color as well. I don't know if it was because the deep color or how my bathrooms were set up, but he was very knowledgeable of like, okay, this is the route that I think you need to go with this because this is, going to be your better option. I don't want you to have to repaint. It made me, we talk about it with our clients. We've talked about it on the show, but like going through it personally, it made me realize you truly do need an expert involved.
All right, let's take a break for just a second, and then we're going to get to the rest of this conversation right after this. You're listening to Home in Progress, where the projects are real, the mistakes, they're educational, sometimes painful, mostly educational, and the only thing more stubborn than that old wallpaper on your bathroom wall is your determination to get it fixed. Proudly sponsored by RepcoLite Paints and Benjamin Moore. Paint with a purpose, people who care, and everything you need to get the job done right. Well, I am still in the studio with Ginger Herman from Suprins Group 5-Star Real Estate Leaders. And last segment in this one, we're talking about a ski chalet that Ginger bought, a rental. She redid all the colors inside. She worked with Hailey at RepcoLite to figure out, exactly what to do and which colors to use. And it's kind of funny because so often with paint, we figure that's something that, we should be able to just figure out the colors. And yet I know people struggle sometimes to get colors just for a room.
Yeah.
People know how hard that is. Now try to do a whole home.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on, and you're dropping money to get the paint, time to put it on.
Yeah.
You want to make sure it works, and it does everything you need it to do, color-wise, finish-wise, and durability-wise, like you said with the Scuff.
Exactly. I know. I know that Scuff X is more money up front, but now I don't have to repaint more often than what I would have if I used a regular finish. So that was so important to me. Even just the neutral color, like having an expert in color know that, okay, I have those orangey floors and the black trim. This is the, natural beige, whitish looking color that you should go with because it is going to match your floor and your trim, right? I could have walked in there and there's so many different type of whites and neutrals,
it's
right?
Overwhelming.
And you're like, oh, this is the one I actually like. Well, once you put it up to the floor and the trim and whatever else, like, is that actually going to look good? I just feel RepcoLite really helped me with this project between the color specialist and knowing what finish to put on it, that I don't have to spend more money because we did it right the first time.
When did you wrap it all up? Or are you still working on finishing?
No, we wrapped it up, I think, 2 weeks ago. So like paint, everything is all done. I have a couple more things to do, with furnishings. But other than that, I think it's going to be
all
done.
new furniture or some?
Pretty
new?
much.
Okay.
There are a couple of things that we left, like the dining room table was still pretty good. So I was like, I don't really want to switch that out. There was a couple of dressers that I left because those were also pretty good. And that 70s feel. Mm-hmm. So that's why I was like, I want to keep it. There are a couple of pieces of furniture that I might paint that sweet rosy brown that's in our bathrooms, that I might paint the furniture in the house to kind of also tie that together.
So do you have all the old renters? I mean, are they like locked in? They're coming back next year? Is it a yearly thing, or do you got to find all new rentals?
All new rentals, because it's short term. So it's just on like Airbnb and VRBO.
Oh, so it's just anybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
But we do get a lot of repeat people each summer and fall. So now I'm almost nervous for the new photos. Yes, right? Like, what if someone loved that? That's okay. We'll find new people that like the new look. But it feels very overwhelming and feeling like you have to get it perfect, which now I know. I mean, that's how my sellers feel, right? It's that overwhelming feeling of like, I got to get it right, and I hope people like it.
Well, you've got that, but I think we all feel that even when we're doing our own homes. There's that stress of, even though this is just me, and how many people really come through my house?
Yeah.
Very few. And yet, when I'm picking colors, I'm thinking about those handful of people that are going to come through.
Yeah. Hailey was great, though. I would keep sending her photos of like, what do you think about this? All right, what do you think about this? And it felt good to have someone's opinion that's in the industry that knows what they're doing. Also, she was always like, well, do you like it? Yeah, I love it. And then she's like, that's also what matters.
Right.
Stop thinking about what everyone else loves, right? If you love it, that's also what matters.
No,
too.
that's really cool. And that's what, the folks in the store who do design consultations and stuff.
Yeah.
There's a charge to come out to your site. You can come into the store and just talk color all day long. There's no charge for that.
It's worth it to have someone out at your house.
Man,
it's so worth it.
And they'll have those conversations. They'll help you figure out the best way to go.
And they're not pushing anything on you. It's not this like salesy pitch of like, here's what you have to do. It's really, they're truly trying to help you.
Well, because we don't want to push anything on you. No. Because if you hate it, we want that to have fully been your decision.
Yes.
And it's all about that. It's not about us pushing something and then now you don't like it. We just want you to find what you like, and we want to help you find that.
Yes.
It's not always easy to know. You think you know what you like, but when you've got a whole house to put together, it gets a little more complicated.
Even for a color specialist to know what you're going for and give you like 3 options instead of walking to the store and you're looking at those paint swatches and there's like 50, right? You come in for like a green and you're like, well, there's 27 and I don't know which one to go for.
Right.
They seen your space. They know what's going to look best. Here's like 3 or 4 options. That even in itself, for me, who gets overwhelmed with too many options, that is wonderful. Because Hailey did. She came to me with like 3 or 4 options.
That's what we try to do, is try to minimize what you're looking at, help pare it down. And then from there, if we need to fine tune, we can find other versions within that one that maybe can help you figure out where you need to go. But we don't want to start with tons and tons.
No.
Well, if you're struggling with anything like that, whether it's a single room or a whole house, or I was going to say a Swiss chalet. It's a ski chalet.
Ski chalet.
Whatever you're working on.
There, that's better.
Yeah, that's the only thing I can do.
Yes.
Oui. Yeah.
We're not very good at this.
No, we're not.
They don't pay us for
We
this.
just offended a lot of people.
We
perhaps.
did.
Send those emails to Ginger, or those texts.
Not for the painting.
That's mine?
That's you.
Oh, okay.
Nobody call me for paint. Well, if they do call
I was
me,
saying complaints. I don't want complaints even about painting. Send
I'll take your complaints. But if someone calls me, is like, what color should I put in my bedroom? I'll be like,
call Ginger.
I'll be like,
that.
call Dan. No, Dan doesn't want to deal with it.
I'll help. I'll gladly help. I'll pawn that off on somebody who knows.
Yes.
Anyway,
the color specialist.
We will help. We're all, we've got people in all of our stores ready to help with that. And then, like you said, the folks in the stores, we just have been working with paint for ages. We've been making our own since 1946. So as a company, we've been in it forever.
Were you here, Dan? Were you working on that with them?
No, but I have been here 30 years.
Yay!
30 years.
This year? 2026?
Yeah, by the end of this year.
Gosh.
Isn't that nuts?
Cool.
Yeah.
You should be celebrating.
I was 4 when I started. No. Anyway, but 30 years. But yes, we've got all that experience. We'll help you find what you want. That's what we want most, is just to make you happy with your decisions.
You are the experts.
We do try to be.
Mm-hmm, you
it's
are.
Our goal in life, just like you try to be.
Yep.
Look, it's a great big hug fest, right?
Yes.
That's all about. So we'll help you with paint.
Yep. I'll help you with real estate.
And why don't you give out your contact info one more time? It's Suprins Group 5-star real estate leaders. Ginger and Sue. Normally Sue's here, your mom.
Yeah, Sue's in Florida.
Sue's living it up. But
So
if they
guess
wanna-
what? You'll call me.
Yeah.
616-633-5880.
Excellent. Ginger, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
And that's going to do it. If you want to catch this episode again, you can find it online at RepcoLite.com. Whatever you do today, make sure paint's a part of it. Have a great weekend, everybody, and I'll see you next week. For Home in Progress, I'm Dan Hansen. Thanks for listening.